There are three types of retirees. You have either overfunded your retirement, underfunded your retirement, or you're constrained. You're right there in the middle, at risk if you don't do it right, of running out of money in retirement. If you've overfunded it, well, how do you know if you've overfunded it first? That's the first question I would have. If you haven't done a plan for retirement income, how do you know if you've overfunded retirement? Certain people know, obviously, if you've got millions and millions of dollars and you're not going to spend a lot in retirement. But
right.
Until you've gone through the process, maybe you have a 1.5, maybe you have 2, maybe you have 1, and you don't know if you've overfunded retirement. That needs to be the first thing, is a written plan with your income wants and your income needs considered and built into an income plan over the course of your lifetime with inflation-adjusted raises to see, do you have enough assets to support your retirement? And then you'd know if you're overfunded and have leftover funds available. Underfunded just means you probably haven't saved much. They have very little in terms of retirement savings, so you're going to have to rely on Social Security. That's what we call the fixed income retiree. But constrained investors, which makes up the majority of retirees, and the majority, quite frankly, of the people that we work with, they have saved consistency for retirement. They have done what they needed to do between the 20s, right?
Yep.
And here we are reaching the 20-yard line, getting into that retirement red zone. Their savings is high enough, but they have to have a withdrawal strategy. They have to have an income plan that is sound and an investment strategy that takes into consideration the sequence risk that we just talked about, because timing risk is the greatest among the constrained investor.
Scott, those folks have a very thin margin of error. They don't have a lot of wiggle room as far as things going wrong in their plan or what have you. Let's go back to the football analogy. If Arkansas had been up, let's say, by 3 or 4 touchdowns and we fumbled the ball in the red zone and they ran it back, okay, well, they got one on us, but we still had a big enough lead that we could have, survived that. But I think that when you are thinking about a very thin margin and then you have that big swing in momentum and that big turn where you didn't put points on the board and then gave them 7 points, then you don't have time to recover from that. And I think that's really a very apropos part of this, Troy, as you look at trying to approach retirement in the red zone.
Well, like you just mentioned, that if we would have had 2 or 3 touchdown lead, that's your overfunded person in retirement. It doesn't matter that they gave up some gains or whatever, had a few losses in their portfolio. They were okay there. And then on the other hand, the other side of that, an underfunded person for retirement is the team that's already down by 3 or 4 touchdowns and they make a mistake. They weren't going to win that game anyway. But it's the close game. It is the A&M game. That's what we're talking about here. That's the constrained investor, and that's where having a plan is so important for that person.
And guys, we work with all kinds of retirees. We work with underfunded retirees. We work with overfunded retirees. But the biggest group of people that we work with are those constrained investors, those folks that don't have a whole lot of margin. They don't have a whole lot of wiggle room. They don't have a whole lot of ability to weather a big storm unless they do some things to solidify and guarantee some things in their portfolio. So clearly, the red zone strategy is to take care of business first. Be sure that your required income is locked down and taken care of in retirement.
Want more content like this delivered to your inbox weekly? Visit fastest4.com to learn more.